Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. I've got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20, break 3 to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell that's right there. And it'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, please don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. Come on, baby. We have a mobile app. In case you ain't know, now you know. So wherever you get your apps from, it doesn't matter whether it's iTunes or Google Play or Amazon or Walmart or Kmart or 7-Eleven or Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Weebolts, Gold Blast. It doesn't matter where you get your apps from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. So if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. Put it there next to the big boys: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, Apple Plus, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Put us there on the big screen. You can watch us there. Hell, we're on the big screen, right, Mickey? Now you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. Want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Man, we got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or a mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So keep them coming, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. And like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's check. Man, the chat is jumping like crazy today, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Woo, Charlie. Oh, Black Diamond's in the house early since top of the morning, Shawn. This kid, Matas, might be a diamond. Gee. What do you mean might? Wait till the 26-27 season. So we got 25-26. Then the 26-27 season. When he gets this offseason and the 25-26 offseason, when he gets those two off seasons in the weight room and he comes back for the 26-27 season, Dude, this kid's dunking out people already. Dude, his footwork is amazing. His handle for someone who's 6'10". Come on, man. Come on, man. This kid, real deal. This kid is the real deal, Black Diamond. This Joker is the real deal. I mean, he put it all on display last night. We're gonna talk about it. We'll show highlights coming out of the break, man. Woo, Charlie is all I gotta say. Cornelius Squall checking in. What up, what up, what up, sports owners? The kid had a game last night. Yes, he did, Doctor. Yes, he did. Oh, my man Shorty is in the house. Mr. Shorty's in the house. What's up, Papa? He says top of the morning. And he also says white men can jump. Yes, they can. And they can dunk on your head if you ain't watching out. Levette Lee checking in the house. Just happy hump day, y'all. Good morning, Ma. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Cornelius Squalls. Brandon Schutz checking in. What's up, baby? Happy hump day. Happy hunt the hump day. What? What are you saying, Brandon? My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. is in the house. He said, good morning, everybody. Junior's in the house checking it out. That's what I'm talking about. Yay, yay. Oh, snap. Jay Grizz is back in this mother Hubbard. Hell yeah. Jay Grizz. Marshawn Walls in the house. What up? What's up on a hump day? And Matis, let's be a future superstar. You damn right. You damn right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Black Diamond. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Don't worry about it. He's going to get. That's why I said, give me 2 off seasons. 2 off seasons of him in the weight room. Woo, Charlie. You're going to come back yoked. He's going to be similar to Giannis. Remember how skinny Giannis was? Or Joakim Noah? Remember how skinny those 2 guys were when they first came in the league? They didn't even have tights couldn't even fit them. Tights couldn't even fit them. They're still loose. But no, 2 off seasons. This off season, so the summer of 2025 and the summer of 2026. So when the 26-27 season starts, you're going to look at this dude and be like, damn, he ate some weights. This kid, I'm telling you, this kid has it all. He is a complete package. And his attitude, his demeanor is what really makes everyone love him. Because the kid can play, but there are tons of kids who can play. But you know what? His youthful, maybe naive disposition, grateful. His attitude is grateful. He's grateful to be playing for the Bulls. And it shows. He's given everything he's got. Man, he'll take you inside, he'll hit the three, a fall away 3 from the corner as time expires for the half. All right, he'll dunk on your head. He'll go baseline, hit you with the soft floater. He'll go left, spin on you, put you in a spin cycle, lay it up with the left. Come on, man. This kid got everything. Hit you with the mid-range. There's nothing this kid doesn't do. There's nothing this kid doesn't do. And that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's continue to develop him. You know, what you want in the weight room now to kind of just maintain, but you better hit it hard in the offseason. I want to see him come back like Lowry. All right? Like Io. Let's not get it twisted. Remember, Io was, he get bumped once and he go flying into the stanchion underneath. Now he's taking that contact. He's riding with the contact. All right, leading the shoulder in, boom, laying it up off the glass and one. Io's developed. Io's got stronger. Kobe White's gotten stronger. Now we just need this kid to do what these other guys have done. Even Patrick Williams. I know he's a little erratic at times. Patrick Williams got bigger and stronger. So I'm not worried about that. I'm excited to see him the next 2 seasons. I'm telling you, when 26-27 comes, whoo, that kid's going to be pushing for all-star status, period. He might even be doing that next year. That's how dope this young man is. You got jokes, Brandon? He's like, you ready for Chicago White Sox baseball season? You got jokes, huh? You think you're funny? Probably only going to 1 game or 2 games. Probably opening day and one of the crosstowns. Other than that, bump them. And I'm taking in my plastic flask full of vodka, so I only spend $7 on a drink, on a pop, and put the pour my vodka in the 7-Up. What's funny, Mondo? I don't know what the hell's so funny. Funny how? What am I, like a clown? I'm here to amuse you. My man Armando Emeterio Lara, the third. Thank you so much for tuning in, Papa. I appreciate it. Pitchers and catchers report for you guys for the Cubs on Sunday. Pitchers and catchers report for the White Sox on the 13th. I want to say 12th. Baseball season is here. I'm really trying to set up, make sure I had some coverage for her. But I definitely want to go to Arizona for 3 days, maybe 4. And hey, you better watch your mouth, you son of a Jay Grizz said, you going to the crosstown to watch the Sox get spanked? Don't you blaspheme on here, my man. Don't do it. No, Brandon, the White Sox are in Arizona. They've been in Arizona for a long time. They used to be in Sarasota, but now they've been in Arizona for over 20 years now. They were in Tempe, in Tucson first, but then what Major League Baseball did, which was a great idea, they centralized all the spring training. So in Florida, it used to be all from Tampa all the way down. Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale. And then Fort Lauderdale and Tampa aren't really close. And Tucson and Phoenix are not really close either. A few-hour drive. So what Major League Baseball did some years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, is they decided everyone came in and around Phoenix. All right? And they built an expressway called the 101. So it's literally a big loop. It's a big loop, so it won't take you more than an hour to get to any spring training facility in Arizona. I haven't been to the what they did in Florida. They brought all the teams up into and around Tampa, just like they did in Philly. In Phoenix. So, but the White Sox are in Glendale, which is that's kind of like one of the furthest ones away. The White Sox share a facility with the Dodgers out there in Glendale. It's right by the football stadium. So, yeah. So ours, it's called Camelback Ranch. You said, what's the name of y'all spring training? Yeah, it's called Camelback Ranch. And like I said, the White Sox and the Dodgers share the facility. Thanks, Jay Grierson. Monday sucked without you, SuperBack, by the way. Too bad you couldn't check in a little later. Yeah, I came in at about 2:15. All right, but we're back, baby. We're back by popular demand. I'm in control. I got the upper hand. But you got me today, baby. You got me. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. And man, we got to get it rolling. At the bottom of the hour, the show is going to get it cracking. My man Jason Palmer, who covers the Sky, is going to join us. We're talking Sky basketball. There's a lot of stuff going on with the girls, those young ladies in the organization. Trying to figure out when they're getting shovels in the dirt, when they're going to get all this stuff together for their new practice facility, which is right by Midway. They don't have a point guard, although they take that back. They signed Courtney Vandersloot back. Why they get rid of Kennedy Carter? What the hell was all that about? So they got a new GM, a new coach, new point guard, who's an old point guard. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Chicago Sky. We're going to talk to Jason Palmer at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, my man Nicholas Moreano. All right, Chicago Bears beat writer is going to join us fresh. He's back fresh from his trip from Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl. He was down there interviewing people. So we're going to talk to him about a wide variety of things, the whole new coaching staff. First of all, the coaching hire, then the new staff. Then where's he looking at as far as players? What players did he like down in Mobile? And also, what does he think of the prospects? Where are we going? We're going O-line first. We're going D-line first. What are we going to do in free agency? We're going to target Trey Smith. What are we targeting? So we got a lot to talk with Nicholas today. Man. Yeah. So a lot to talk with Nicholas today. So it's going to be a great one. So he's coming on at 10 o'clock. So make sure you tune in. Again, 9:30 at the bottom of the hour, Jason Palmer is going to join us talking Chicago Sky basketball. And then at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock, Nicholas Moreano, Chicago Bears beat writer, going to talk all things Bears. Man, my man Plank checking in. What's up, Papa? Good morning. I appreciate it. Brandon says, could I track it when you come to the show on Friday? Could I check in first before anyone else does? Yeah, you just got to check YouTube. You got to check the YouTube channel, and you can leave your comment up there first. That's all. Did I see the CHGO guys talking to Trey Smith? No, I did not. I did not. So, but we're going to get it cracking. We got to get it cracking. So, you guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
First top of the morning topic, baby. You know which way we're going. Stop playing. Stop playing. The Bulls, baby. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Man, Bulls with a big, big win yesterday over the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat with a 133, 120, 124 on the West Side. West Side. The rookie, baby. The rookie was the story of the game. Matas Bucelas tied for the game high, 24 points, but he was 10 for 10 from the field. 4 for 4 from three-point land. His best game, obviously, as a rookie. Yeah. Best game as a rookie. Josh Giddey also contributed 24 points. Kobe White, 22 points. Chicago, another Chicago product. 21 points, 9 assists. And Vucevic, Mr. Walking double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds. But the story of the day was a kid. You see the picture here with him. Man, this kid was ready to go. And found out yesterday he's going to be in the dunk contest. So he was probably trying to show out he was happy that he's going to San Francisco and he's going to be in the dunk contest. So that was probably one of his motivating factors for such a great, great game yesterday. Man, that is awesome. However, staying with the Bulls, the next top of the morning topic. Tonight, the Bulls travel to Minnesota for a date with the Timberwolves. Tip-off tonight is at 7 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicagoland Sports Network. The Chicago Sports Network, excuse me. And you can listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. Wow, that was awesome. That game was awesome yesterday, man. That was awesome. Let's keep it moving. The next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are in action tonight. They're back over on the west side, right where the Bulls were last night. They host the Edmonton Oilers at the United Center. Puck drop tonight is at 8:30. It's a late game. You can catch that game on TNT and True TV, or listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. You know what? As long as Connor Bedard continues to develop, continues to score, I'll be happy. I'll be Betty happy. Forgot to do this. I'm sure you saw this. And it was all over the news. Sorry. This was crazy. Next top of the morning topic. Man, tell you. Marcus Jordan, the son of Michael Jordan, was arrested the other day for possession of cocaine and resisting arrest. They found he was stopped on some train tracks. The officer said when they pulled him over, smell of alcohol was prevalent. And they video, they had the body cam on it, and you can tell he was impaired. And it's tough, man. This young man needs help. And Michael's got to do something. All right? I don't give a shit who you are, bro. Multi-billionaire Michael Jordan. You're a dad. Okay? Let me take this down. You're a dad. And the fact of the matter is your son needs your help. Okay? Fuck who the world thinks you are. Fuck the adores you, and you know what I mean? You're a dad. And your son needs help. Okay? First from his philandering with Scottie Pippen's ex-wife and the embarrassment it brought to you, to your family, to Scottie, okay, who was, and then now this. The kid needs help, and I get it. I understand. Believe you me, I understand. I went to school with a whole bunch of rich kids. All right, I went to college with a whole bunch of rich kids. Holy Cross is white Irish Catholic, man. You're talking out in the Northeast, old money. So I get it. I understand. But a lot of times, those are the kids that are the worst ones because they've been privileged. And your son needs your help, man. Okay? He's lucky that he didn't get into an accident. He's lucky he didn't kill anybody or himself. Okay? See, people do it all the time. Like now, I won't even say rich people can go get a driver. You can call a Lyft, call an Uber. You know what I mean? And leave your car at the bar. Most bars don't have a problem with you leaving it. If they have a parking lot, they'll be cool with it. You know what I mean? But especially if I'd love to have a driver. But then again, he's young. He's 32, 34, somewhere in there. He's young. I don't know, man. I was just thankful that nobody got hurt. Seriously. That no one got hurt. Because, I wonder how much of this is done as rebellion to his dad. And there's a price you got to pay for being so famous. Okay, there's a price. And that could be the sanity of your kids. Right? Because everybody wants you to be, especially as you started playing basketball. Right? Oh, you got to be, he's 34, Mondo said. Thank you, Papa. Appreciate it. My little nephew. Well, he's not little anymore. He's like 6'2". But there's a price you got to pay. Everyone, that's Michael Jordan's son. It's Michael Jordan's son. It's Michael Jordan's son. And everything you do is under a microscope. All right. And then here's what happens is you get privileges because you're Michael Jordan's son. Okay. And you grow up entitled. You grow up spoiled. All right. And I wonder how much affection Mike had with him as a father. I'm not questioning Mike's parenting skills. I'm just asking that question because he's crying out for help. He's crying out for help. And I hope Jay Grizz, I haven't seen that. You said they say Marcus said he's tired of living. It's a dark space the young man is in. I haven't heard that, but if that is true, my goodness. It's tough. You got to understand casting the shadow that Michael has, and then your kids aren't doing, especially if you play, because he was the better of the basketball player, him and Jeff. And not to get up there, it's an impossible task to live up to the standard of your father. He just made some very poor decisions recently, the last couple of years. He's got to do better. And Mike, you need to be there. And I hope you are. I really do. Because it's not about Michael Jordan, the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate brand. It's about Michael Jordan, the dad. And he needs you. Good luck, thoughts, and prayers definitely go out to Marcus, the Jordan family, and is thankful for him that no one was hurt or killed. That would have opened up Pandora's box. Bears made some more hires. Next top of the morning topic, the Bears made some more hires. Going higher. The Bears are signing Jeremy Grant as a new defensive line coach and Richard Smith, their new linebackers coach. I think they're done now. They should be done. Got the DB's coach. You got the linebacker coach, the D-line coach. Line coach and Bouchard we talked about. Obviously, so we're good to go. Staff is intact. This D-line is important. So this Jeremy Garrett hire is important. Okay, because we have one secondaries in the NFL. From Jalen Johnson, who's a perennial Pro Bowler, to Tyreek Stevenson, who's young, active, aggressive, who can get to Pro Bowl status if he continues on the current path that he's on. And Kyler Gordon, one of the best nickelbacks in the NFL. Dennis Allen likes to go a lot of man, which means you're going to be on an island. You're going to be responsible for one guy. The best way to handle that, combat that, is to get to the quarterback quickly. So Jeremy Grant's going to have to do a phenomenal job of pulling out and developing these guys that we have. I know we got Montez Sweat, but Montez Sweat isn't – he didn't have any help last year. Didn't have a threat on the other side of him. Andrew Billings tore his pec, so that took all the pressure coming out from the inside. So what's going to happen? Dennis Allen's going to bring people. He's going to bring 5, maybe 6. And these DBs are going to be put in in tough situations. But the way to help those DBs is to make sure you get to that quarterback quick. Get him off his spot. The worst thing a quarterback can do is throw the ball a half second too early or throw it a half second too late. And that's your job, Jeremy Garrett and Dennis Allen, to make sure that the quarterback that you face throw the ball a half a second too early or a half a second too late. Because if you do that, you're going to have a shitload of turnovers again this year. Pick sixes. Might have some big hits on receivers because they travel through a zone because the quarterback couldn't get it out in time. He had to pull it down, take a step up, elude the rush, then try and force it with a fastball. He gets it, but he runs right into a safety. Jeremy Garrett, you got a big responsibility, sir. Very big responsibility. Junior says, every time I see a Facebook of head coach Johnson, Detroit fans cry the Bears tampered with our season. We would have gone to the Super Bowl if the Bears didn't tamper with Johnson. Yeah, I don't know if they tampered with him. Look, they're just salty. They're salty because they realize that their run atop the NFC North, it's probably over. It's probably over, and they're mad. And they still didn't win anything. They haven't won anything. Dimolo, All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little Chicago Sky basketball. There's a whole lot of craziness going on with that organization. Yes, I'm from Canada. We're going to talk to Jason Palmer on the other side, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
The other end gets a lob and finishes. That was going really high.
Yeah, I thought Adebayo might have thrown that in the first row, but Keller Ware went up and got it. Kind of tentative, but he's scoring a lot better. But this is not tentative at all. 6'10", not afraid to handle the ball. Between the legs. Oh, look at this move with the left hand laying.
You gotta help. You gotta have more than one guy helping, and two, you can't make the drive basket easy.
Gonzalez again
for Jalen too. He did a great job forcing a tough shot.
Spinning and dealing the left hand. So no free throws on this. The Bulls have to inbound with 2 seconds left. Modest beating the buzzer for three.
5:11 from the three-point line here in the quarter, and after the Bulls took the lead, it's a 16-5 run right now for Miami.
Kobe White left open. Shot clock at 10. Kobe into the paint. The party of the Red Season. He dunks it home.
Exclamation point by Kobe White. See, it parted like the Red Sea. One dribble, one power dribble at the right inside the free throw line. Said, no! Those were the days, baby, when they could do that stuff. That was a long time ago. Over 30 years ago, maybe 25. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those comes courtesy of Chicago Sports Network. Those were the Bullies yesterday on the West Side, handling the Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat with a very impressive, and the Zach LaVine-less Bulls, very impressive with a win, 133-124 win at home. You know, basketball, there's some issues with the Bulls. They've picked the lane, and they decided to go rebuild. Okay, cool. Now they got to bottom out. Now we got to wait for Boots to get traded, and maybe some other people might be traded. Who knows? Kobe White might be traded. Io might be. Who knows? I think, and according to multiple reports and things that I've read and things that I've heard, Matis is the only untouchable one on this team. We'll see how that plays out by tomorrow, 2 p.m. But the girls in the South Loop, Southside, the Sky, they're an organization that's in flux right now. New GM, new head coach, out with their old point guard who didn't really like, and then in with a new point guard who's really an old point guard. A lot of craziness. He talked about the culture over there. Is Angel Reese more worried about fashion covers or magazine covers than she is basketball? I don't know. Camila Cardosa, is her ass getting in the gym in the weight room and watching her diet? I don't know. These are all things we got to find out because that's going to determine the course of this season. One guy who has a lot of answers to those questions is a good friend of the program because he's part of the network. He's also a man of many talents. So I'm surprised not in his official jersey, his referee jersey, his striped jersey. You can find him on Twitter at JCoyden, JAYCOYDEN. Guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Jason Palmer. Jay, what up, Papa? How are you?
Buenos dias, mi amigo. ¿Cómo está?
Estoy bien.
Man.
Man, you just got back from Nashville, where were you? Was it Nashville, Carolina?
I was in Carolina. Yeah, I was in Carolina last week. Went to Blackhawks game against the Hurricanes. Great time. Carolina fans were great. They actually like Chicago fans. They say, you guys are cool. It's those New Yorkers that are a pain in the ass when they come. So pretty cool, man. It was interesting watching hockey in the Deep South. Yeah, but it was a good time, man. Went down there to visit some of my relatives and visit with some of my ancestors who are no longer with me. So I went to visit a bunch of grave sites in the Carolinas and visit my ancestors and get some inspiration from them and talk with my older relatives who are still alive. So it was a quick couple-day trip, but very spiritually fulfilling, as you can imagine. So
I'll bet. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But so let's talk to me, Jay. What's going on with the Chicago Sky team? New general manager, new head coach.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let's kind of refresh. Why did they get rid of Teresa Witherspoon to begin with? She's a disciplinarian. She was tough. She gave tough love. Angel Reese loved her. Kennedy Carter, who we're going to talk about in a second, she really flourished under her. She was actually the Sky leading scorer last year, and they jettisoned
Teresa Witherspoon.
Kennedy Carter. They jettisoned her also. So, what happened with Teresa Witherspoon, and why did they decide to go their separate ways after only one season?
Well, basically, because of what you just said, she was only catering to 2 damn players on the team, Shawn. if you only catering to Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese, and you completely abandoning Cardoso, if you completely ruin the confidence of Dana Evans, if you've done all this other stuff to everybody else, then you ain't coaching the team. You coaching a couple of players. And that was Teaspoon's biggest problem. You know, she just was not coaching the team. She was coaching, Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter. And, that can have a dramatic effect in team sports when players feel like, oh, you're just catering to these players. And that's in any team sport. But once players start feeling, especially professional players, because they all got egos, once they start feeling that you're not pouring into them, that you're only pouring into others, you're going to have team morale issues. And the Sky had team morale issues that, didn't quite come out until the season ended. But that's basically what happened. And so they brought in Tyler Marsh. They have made some moves already. They made a big move the other day, and they got a big trade done, which is what they needed to do. We knew that the Sky struggled from the 3-point line last year. They just had nobody who could hit from the outside. But they finalized a trade for Rebecca Allen, a 6'2" guard / forward. She's from Australia. She's going to help them from behind the arc. So the Connecticut Sun received Lindsay Allen and the rights to Nicola Miliak. But Allen is going to help them a lot. They needed someone who can hit from the outside. Like, their 3-point shooting was just completely non-existent last year. They've also,
but Jay, what happened to Brenda Maxwell, the one that they drafted last year? That was her gig. She was a 3-point specialist, the girl that they drafted. Then they ended up cutting her before the season even started.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate that they made that decision. I didn't agree with it when they did it. You draft someone, I think she's out of TCU or somewhere, to be a 3-point shooter, and then you cut her. And the problem with that,
you don't have 3-point shooters.
Right, exactly. The problem with that, Shawn, is that the way the WNBA contracts are designed and the number of spots on the roster, they don't have as many spots on the roster as the NBA does, for example. Right. So they have to make some tough decisions, but even though they're tough decisions, you have to make the right decisions. And I thought that was the wrong decision. And we saw it play out all year where they couldn't hit from below the arc, from behind the arc. They were the worst 3-point shooting team in the league last year. So they haven't tried to address that with this trade for Allen. And then shortly after they commenced that trade, they signed Kia Nurse, who is related to Darnell Nurse, the hockey player who plays for Edmonton, and Sarah Nurse, the female hockey player as well. And I think they all are related to Donovan McNabb, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're all related to Donovan McNabb in some way, like as a uncle through marriage or something like that. But Kia Nurse, 2-time champion, an all-star, selected starting all-star back in 2019. She joins the Sky to help give them some veteran presence. And that will definitely help them. And then we got the big news yesterday. And it's big news in that it's the name. I'm not sure if this is the right move, but they are bringing back Courtney Vandersloot, who was a part of the championship team here, a veteran. She's 35 years old, though. But, Sloot can play. We all know that. My concern is that she's 35 years old. And last time she was here, Sloot was getting dog walked when she had to play defense against a point guard. So I'm not really quite sure with that move. Don't get me wrong. She can run a half-court set for them. But, she's 35. And if you're going against some of these 20-somethings, she's going to need a lot of help on defense is what I'll say. She's going to need a lot of help. But she can definitely run an offense, and perhaps that's what Coach Tyler Marsh is looking for. It'd be interesting to see what type of sets he runs. But I do think the Sky style of play also needs to change, Shawn. You got Big Cardosa and Angel Reese. You got a 4 and a 5. You have a 4 and 5 in basketball, which is almost unheard of. A traditional 4 and a traditional Sky, and a traditional 5 for the Sky. They need to be running more half-court sets. They really do. And we saw last year trying to run up and down the court with Cardoso, who, in all fairness, she didn't have a chance to get in shape. She, that's the only thing about the WNBA, especially with the rookies. They come in right off of their college season. So they've already got, right. They've already got a lot of mileage on their legs. They tired. And then you put them out here, you want them to run this hectic offense, you kind of asking for trouble. So I did think that was also another criticism of Witherspoon. But, we'll see what they do. I can tell you that Cardoso is playing overseas in China and working on her game over there. From all the reports I'm hearing, she's definitely improving. She's definitely getting her body in better shape, and she has lost a few pounds. So we will see her in a couple of months once that season is over and she comes back to Chicago. And Angel Reese is playing in the Unrivaled League, the 3-on-3 Unrivaled League. I thought it was funny in your intro you said she's got more modeling contracts than she is. I think that is a concern. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly do think that is somewhat of a concern, but I also understand she gonna make her money because the WNBA ain't playing, and she done already said that they ain't paying her, so she gonna make her money. So we'll see. I think everybody understands where Angel's biggest weakness is, and it's just missing layups. You gotta hit them layups now.
That's why she's so high up in rebounds, because she kept getting her own misses.
Exactly. I was like, man, she padded her stats for real. And that was one of the things that people complained about Witherspoon, because and I blame the Sky partly because they kept promoting, oh, she got another double-double. Oh, she got another double-double. She's on the streak. And everybody like, she keep missing 40% of her shots. And she's literally under the basket. So, yeah, you can get a double-double that way. But so I think it's going to be interesting to see her development. I think that is the key for this season with the Sky. Let's see how Cardoso and Reese develop their game.
But they have a great coach who has a history. Marsh has a history of developing players. So hopefully with Angel Reese's issues that they can, and because that's the issue with the Bulls to a certain extent, not developing, because you can't say you got Io, you have Io, you have Kobe White, you've got Julian, a lot of Bulls players, and that was the issue I had with them before, that they didn't develop. But now, I think the Sky needs to make sure that they develop these are stars. All right. Angel Reese's game, she's got to do much better. They got to work on her shot. It is one of the ugliest shots I've ever seen in my life. You talked about Cardoso and her. She said she's losing weight, which is awesome. They got to they need to work higher. And I don't know how much money they got. I mean, I know they got some new investors, but man, get her with Akeem the Dream. Get her with, I mean, she's 6'7". That's one of the tallest people beside Brittany Griner. All right. Who's like 7'5" or some craziness like that. All right. Get Camila Cardoso with someone like Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. Get her footwork down, because if she does, they do get it down. My goodness, that's going to be something disgusting to deal with every freaking night. A 6'7" girl who's got footwork can go around you, can go over you, and can go by you. So I hope that they take that development part really, really seriously with these young ladies, with these two really talented women.
I think it's going to be a major focus. Even some of the assistant coaches that they hired this offseason, they got some people who can work with her in the paint. And it seems like everything the Sky has done in this offseason has been geared toward helping Cardoso and Reese, and especially Cardoso. I think she is that force that needs to be reckoned with, because, like you said, she's 6'7". She is agile. She can do some things. She can rebound. She can block shots. Now, she did get injured at the beginning of last season. I'm sure that hurt her development a little bit as well. But there were just other times where it was clear Witherspoon just wasn't playing her. And we were all like, why is she on the bench right now? And I could tell that Cardoso was getting a little frustrated with it, but she was a rookie. She's not going to say much. She really doesn't talk a lot anyway. But, I could tell she was frustrated at some of the practices, and, we didn't really want to delve too much into it then. But I think now that she's not a rookie anymore, that she has a new head coach, I think a lot of the offense for the Sky is going to go through her, especially early in the game. They're going to try to establish that post-game early. So this should be real fun to watch this year. The other thing I'll say too, Shawn, is that what I saw last year, and the Sky do open May 17th against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Who
down there?
You know what? I think it is down there. I'm not 100% sure. But that'll be interesting again as they play up the rival again. I'm going to say this, in all my years covering the WNBA, last year was probably the year was not fun at all. And it wasn't fun because of all the political rhetoric that was going on in the country at the time. And Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, that whole political dynamic seeped into the league. And it really made not covering the Sky fun. It really took away from the game itself, I think. I'm not sure if the political rhetoric will die down more this season, but we shall see. And if it does, we'll see how that helps Angel Reese develop her game and just the players in general of the WNBA. And I think the other key is right now, it's not for certain that Dana Evans won't be back. In matter of fact, there's a good chance she will be back. And I think that is just either more of a further indictment that they had on Weatherspoon. Because again, I thought Dana Evans' game just fell completely off the cliff. She started the year as a starting point guard. Then she got benched partway through, and then she wasn't even coming off the bench. And she said that, her confidence was destroyed. In her exit interview, she was very candid with the reporters. So I think Dana's got a lot of talent, and it'll be interesting to see if they bring her back. I think she's got a great outside shot. She's got the speed. Does she want to be Vandersloot's backup, or is she going to come in and be the starter and Vandersloot come off the bench? It's going to be very interesting. So, Coach Marsh has got some decisions to make early in the season in terms of his rotation, his starters, but bringing in Kia Nurse, I think is going to be a huge key. And then trading for Rebecca Allen to get that outside shot. And let's not forget, the draft is still coming up. And the Sky owned the number 3 pick in this year's draft. So there's a chance they're going to get another player with that number 3 pick. And that would really, really help out this franchise.
Guys, we're joined by Jason Palmer, journalist who's also Chicago Sky reporter, talking Sky basketball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. You kind of stole my thunder because my question was going to be about the point guard situation. You have a young squad. And I get you got Twin Towers, and you want to go half court set, but also you do have the youngsters. Get them out, get out and run, giddy up. And you talked about, could Vandersloot be able to push the ball, okay, kind of like a Dana Evans. And that was one of the things that we had talked about. You're always high on Dana Evans. You've always been high on Dana Evans. And so if she gets her chance, she has that ability to get up and down the court. Imagine Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese come, trailing, and then the 3-point shooter that we just got, put her run into the corner. Like this is a real professional basketball fast break. Like, oh shit, which way? Who do we go? We got these girls, and we go to the corner, one or the other. And that's the thing that I hope they bring Dana Evans back, because if they do, then they have the kind of that duality. Okay, we want to settle it down or slow it down. We got the lead. We can bring in Courtney Vandersloot. If we want to get up and run, start the game, maybe go a little Dana Evans, push the tempo, and that really would mess with teams. The change of pace, throughout the game. You're going to have guys or girls. You're going to have players who can adapt to both styles defensively if you're other teams.
Without a doubt. And again, and don't forget Kia Nurse in that equation as well, who is going to play the 2 guard. She can get up and down the court. She's also got a decent outside shot as well. I do think Evans is the key, though, to be able to push it. I think Courtney can push it, but, it's like anything else. As you get older, you can do things, but you can't do them. You can't sustain that, especially a full game of basketball. She's going to need more breathers, and you also have to factor in possibility injuries happen to anybody as well. So they need to build that depth. And that is why I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do in this draft. So, looking at a couple of the mock drafts, both of them have the Sky taking potentially guards out of Notre Dame, either Olivia Miles or either Sonia Citron. Both of them are with Notre Dame right now, and Notre Dame's got one of the best programs in the country. But that guard play, you talked about, that guard play is going to really be key. I think you're okay with the bigs because in addition to Cardoso and Reese, you also got Elizabeth Williams who's coming back. Elizabeth Williams coming back, and she had a really good season. You know,
she stepped it up when they went out. She stepped it up like, okay, I got some game too, folks.
Yeah, she did. She stepped it up and got her an additional contract without a doubt. So you got Elizabeth Williams in there. You got Michela. I can't pronounce her name. She's also forward. They got some players, man. They have a better roster this year, I think. And they got that number 3 pick that's going to come in, who they'll probably keep. They also have a number 10 pick in this year's draft as well. So they got 2 first-round picks. So they got a 3 and a 10. So, you know, they've got some room to work here with those draft picks and bringing other people into the fold. So I don't think they're done yet with the wheeling and dealing.
Okay.
Could they possibly make a move to try to jump up 1 or 2 places
from that 10?
Yeah, from the 3 to get up to like a 2 or the 1. I don't see it really happening, but they could use that 10 pick to move up a little bit higher, maybe to like a 7 or a 6, something like that. If they see someone who's there that they really like, they've got some assets that they can move to get into a much better position. Of course, you know, we would all love if they were able to get that number 1 pick and bring Paige Buchers in here, but it ain't gonna happen. People will talk about Paige. We ain't getting Paige Buchers, y'all. I'm sorry. Dallas is not dumb. They're like, no, that ain't gonna happen. It would be great, but that I don't see that happen. That would absolutely be a miracle for that to happen. And our girl at USC is not coming out either.
Can't come out yet either.
Yeah, she's not coming out. So
Dallas is a shit town right now. The Cowboys, you know, they said the Cowboys, they got Jalen Hurts and was born, was in high school, college, pro, since the last time the Cowboys went. And then they go and they trade Luka over the weekend. Like, what the hell are you doing? He's 25. First of all, I didn't realize Luka's only 25.
I
seems like he's been here for like 7 years, 10 years.
And he looked 40.
Yeah. But he has, because he came in at 19. So yeah, Dallas is not they better not trade that number 1 pick, because that's crazy. I got a question before we let you go. One of the listeners, Jason Jay Grizz, says, do you think will Dawn Staley ever leave the college game to come to the WNBA to coach in the WNBA?
No. And so I if she does, Jay Grizz, she's strictly doing it because she's tired of winning national championships, and she feels that she has enough money in the bank to do it, and she would want to add a WNBA championship to her resume. That's the only reason for her to do it. Dawn is living the life right now. She is, I think she's the highest paid coach in college right now. She's got a squad. She's got 10 McDonald's All-Americans on this year's squad. She's got 10. She's got 10 McDonald's All-Americans on her squad, Jay Grizz. They worship her down there in South Carolina. I just came from down there. I drove through Columbia. She's the most popular coach on the campus. She's more popular than a football coach, the men's basketball. Dawn ain't going nowhere, Jay Grizz. She ain't going nowhere. She getting money. She got a squad. She's got control over her athletes. She's considered the premier head coach in college. You know, why would she leave that to come to the WNBA and fly coach?
When they fly charter.
Exactly.
So it says her salary starts with the annual salary of $400 million, an annual $250,000 escalator. So she stays. She's getting 4, 4.25, 4.5, 4.75, 5. Dude, she is
$4 million a year is what she's starting at least. Yeah. Yeah, she not coming. They ain't paying $4 million in the WNBA, Jay Green.
They don't even pay players that.
Right. And Dawn got endorsement. She doing the duck commercial with Coach Nick Saban. Was it Aflac? She doing an Aflac commercial. Right. Man, Dawn, she ain't coming, Jay Green. Sorry.
Hey, Jay, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, though, before you go, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Check me out at Jay Coyden on Twitter, JayCoyden. Check out my website, Jay Coyden Reports, JCoyden Reports.com. Good talking to you, Shawn.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Hasta luego.
Talk soon. Bye-bye. Guys, that's Jason Palmer, journalist, Chicago Sky reporter. Talk about the craziness going on with that organization. What the hell is it with all of our God-blessed teams? What is it? Why are all our teams in flux acting crazy? And now the team that gives everyone the most flux, the Bears, they seem to be like possibly turning it around. Like, what? You're acting like a real organization. But we're going to talk to a guy who's on the beat. Good friend of the program. He's been rocking with me for, he was on the Chicago Audible way back in the day. And we're talking about his trip down to Mobile, Alabama, and some of his thoughts on the upcoming season. My man Nicholas Moreano on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
With that being said, I do have a message here for the players. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. The bar has been set higher than it's ever been set before. The only way for this team and for you as individual players to reach your potential is to be pushed and to be challenged. And that's exactly what I and my staff plan on doing. We are going to push, we're going to challenge. And along with those high standards, there's also going to be a high level of support as well. Everybody in this building is going to be all about helping you guys out.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Chicago Bears. That was the man 50 grand, or should I say 13 million grand. My man Ben Johnson talking right to the players direct. It was like he was talking to them. Nobody else is in the room. Just those 4, and I liked it. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. All right, we're setting the tone off from jump. I like it. All right, in other words, shit ain't flying this year. the buck stops here, and I like it. All right, because football, that's if you've ever played, you understand that's how the game is to be played. There's not a lot of BS. When you find a lot of BS in locker rooms and they see it transfer to the field, those teams usually aren't pretty good. They're usually not good at all. And guess what? Our Bears weren't good at all last year. So, man, I'm excited to have my guy. The next guest said we've been rocking with us for years, and I appreciate it. He's a Bears beat writer. You can find him on Twitter at Nicholas Moreano. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Nicholas Moreano. Nicholas, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm great, man. I am great. My eyes opened up this morning and made it a great day.
Hey, I feel you, man. Yeah, you gotta take nothing for granted. But it's been so I've been coming on for a while now, but it's been a little it's been like hit or miss since like trying to get me on. But I'm glad I'm finally able to do it, and we get to talk some Bears.
Man, you and me both, man. You and me both. So first of all, talk to me about the hire. Are you happy with who they got? I mean, I personally wanted Pete Carroll, but it doesn't mean that I don't think that OG Ben Johnson can't be a phenomenal coach. Are you happy with the hire? And who was your first pick?
Yeah, so he was my first pick. I am happy with the hire, but like you, I was high on Pete Carroll as well. Just talking with people who have been around him, I think he's going to do some great things in Vegas. I really do. So, but that being said, I do like Ben Johnson, what he will bring to the Bears, and most importantly, what he's going to bring to Caleb Williams in that offense. Just knowing what he did in Detroit and how he helped Jared Goff become the player that he is, and just you look at Detroit's offense and seeing like what it was able to do. The past 3 years, he was the offensive coordinator, but it obviously takes more than just having an established offense for him to succeed as a head coach. But for the most part, when the Bears announced that they were going to land Ben Johnson, I think that was a win-win for a lot of people, not only within the organization for the Bears, but then a lot of Bears fans as well, knowing that, hey, Ben Johnson comes with a nice track record and hopefully can bring that success over to Chicago.
I was fine and dandy because, he's the flavor of the month. He's the hottest guy in this cycle and everything. And we've had our Matt Nagy's, we've had our Mark Trestmans, we've had the John Shoops. But the one thing that he said that got me giddier than a schoolgirl was when he said, I'm breaking this shit down. I'm not transferring this Detroit's playbook here. I'm breaking it down. I'm going to build it up around the talents of Caleb Williams. I got excited. I'm like, does anyone else know about this? Tailoring an offense around the skill of your quarterback. Does anyone else do this in the NFL? Because that's a novel concept here in Chicago. That's when I really started. That's when I was fully on board with Ben Johnson. Like I said, he was my second choice. But, man, when he said that, I'm like, thank you. Because now we have a guy. We saw what he did in Detroit. We saw it. They led the NFL, the number one offense in the NFL. Like, my goodness. And how well do you think that's going to – first of all, how long do you think it's going to take for this offense to be good? Because we don't have 3 first-rounders on that offensive line like they did in Detroit. That's for darn sure. And we don't have 2 running backs like we do. But we do have some skill. We got a lot of skill positions. How long do you think it takes before this offense really clicks into something where people are like, oh, shit, you better watch that Chicago offense. They're a little deadly.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't happen sooner rather than later, but it really does start with fortifying that offensive line and actually putting quality players up there to, obviously give Caleb Williams time to go through his progressions, run Ben Johnson's offense the way he's going to run it here in Chicago. And I think that was extremely telling in that opening press conference that he had at Hallis Hall, that he realizes the Bears are not the Lions. And there are a lot of different ways that they are different, and what he's going to have to do to strip it down, the playbook, and build it back up to this new version. So I think that is, extremely important for Ben Johnson to not only realize that, but to implement that here in Chicago. But when you look at the Bears offense as a whole right now, yes, the offensive line is clearly the weak link. But when you look at those skill players that they have on the outside, and where you could potentially do more with a guy like Rome Odunze going into year 2, Cole Kmet, who, was kind of neglected at times last season for whatever reason. So I just think that Ben Johnson's going to see the assets that he has, maximize those kind of guys, but also you have to give the offensive line the proper quantity or quality of players that it needs. And honestly, quantity too, because the 3 interior guys, the Bears realistically can add different people there. You don't know where most likely tevinjenkins is going to be gone. You obviously need an answer at right guard with Matt Pryor stepping in there after Nate Davis's whole situation. And then Coleman Shelton was the answer, long-term answer at center. So it starts with really addressing that offensive line. But if you could do that with quality players there, Shawn, I think that Ben Johnson's offense, knowing that it can cater to a guy like Caleb Williams because it's going to be tweaked in his image, it should be able to, get up and running. And I think it should have success, I think, even early on in the season. But it really does start with addressing that O-line.
How do you think they go about it? There's been rumors about the Trey Smith, them being in on Trey Smith when it's all said and done with who was the guy, the center? I have a picture. Center
Drew
from
Atlanta.
Yes. Here, I got a picture of it. Dahlman. Yeah, so they're talking about them being, and if do you think they're going to go that way and draft someone in the first round or in their first 3 picks, or do you think they go all offensive linemen in their first 3 picks?
Man, yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I think Trey Smith would be a great addition to this offensive line, knowing what he brought or what he's done in Kansas City. Has that 1 year overlap with Ryan Poles, but outside of his rookie year, didn't obviously get to know him more than that. But I do like the idea of bringing in a veteran center. Again, a Drew Dahlman from Atlanta, knowing that the system that they run over there would be, I think, a fit for Dan Rochar and what he's going to do as the O-line coach in Chicago. So I do like that idea because if let's say you do go the route of drafting a rookie center, yes, a guy can obviously become a really good football player, but I think in year 2 for Caleb Williams, you almost want a little bit more stability right there in the middle. That's someone that's going to be an asset to Caleb Williams, someone who's seen a variety of different defenses and know what to expect at times when maybe Caleb, who's only going into year 2, hasn't seen certain things. But I think the idea of a Drew Dahlman there would be really enticing. If you can add a Trey Smith as well, you're looking really, really good at your offensive line in 2 interior spots. And shoot, if it works out for the number 10 pick where you can also draft another O-lineman, I think as a Bears fan looking at this team, like, you really invested in the O-line. But I don't really anticipate it going that way. I'm sure Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson are going to look at the board and they see an edge rusher at 10 that they know can be an asset to Montez Sweat, who had a down year last year. That wouldn't surprise me as well. But I think the trenches, especially in that first round of the draft, will be addressed. I know a lot of Bears fans are also thinking of the idea of Genty from, I get it. I understand. Great football player. You see what Ben Johnson had in Detroit with the 2 running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs, but it almost feels like a luxury pick if you know what I'm saying. Like, if you already have certain positions filled, then you add a guy like that. I don't think the Bears are in that position right now.
Yeah, I don't either. And I was pleasantly surprised at the way that DeAndre Swift was able to run between the tackles. All year when they signed him, I'm like, this is terrible. Like, he's going to be on the outside. He's not going to be able to run between the tackles. And he said, "Hey, Shawn, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Shawn." And he shut me the hell up because I was extremely impressed with the way he ran hard between the tackles. Now, he's not running anybody over, but he's not afraid to go in between the tackles, make a guy miss, which he did. I forgot what game that was where he it was like looked like an inside zone to the right, cut back, and just out right past the linebacker. I'm like, holy sheesh. Like, I was very, very impressed. Now I think so what do you think? Do you think they go into the draft later in the later rounds and grab another running back, maybe a little bigger one? Because you see he likes using 2 running backs. I'm talking Ben Johnson, and DeAndre Swift is only one. And because I'm not sold on Roschon Johnson. He's slowly going further or falling further and further out of favor with me.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely, especially with this year's class, there's a lot of running back talent, whether you're looking high up in the draft like a Jenky or, a guy that really impressed me when I was at the Senior Bowl was Marcus Yarns from Delaware. Smaller guy, almost a similar size to a Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think it would be something that Ryan Poles is going to look at, and, Ben Johnson obviously as well, and see if they can just add more to the position. With Roschon, with the concussions in and out of the lineup, like, I just think that when you have so much success at your previous stop in Ben Johnson with the 2 backs that he had and 2 very different guys, right? With Montgomery being the guy that's really, really more capable of giving you that tough yardage. Gibbs can do that as well, but Gibbs just has that extra burst that when he gets on the edge, or if he gets somebody one-on-one space, or even as a pass catcher of the backfield, that's a problem for the defender who's in conflict there. So I just think that Ben Johnson is going to look at this draft and maybe want to add somebody later. I know a guy that, I've watched definitely over the years, and maybe a little bias here, but I was Caleb Johnson, a guy that is a bit bigger, can do a little bit of everything. Maybe I don't know exactly where he's going to fall in this draft, but maybe that's a guy that's enticing to the Bears. But I also think it's important when you bring in a coach like Eric Bieniemy, who's going to be coaching that group, and obviously somebody that has been an offensive coordinator in UCLA and then has won 2 Super Bowls as an OC with the Chiefs, but being a former running back himself as a player, he's going to want to get the most out of that group, especially knowing that Ben Johnson got the most out of that group when he was a play caller in Detroit. So I think it's vital that the Bears make sure that room has the necessary pieces that it needs to going into the 2025 season, that Ben Johnson can utilize, make it an asset for Caleb Williams. Because the big thing about about Ben Johnson's offense, there's balance to it. Yes, Jared Goff can throw all over the yard, and Ben Johnson can scheme up all these amazing creative plays, but when you face the Detroit Lions, you needed to know that you need to stop the run as equally as you need to stop the pass. So I think it is going to be imperative that they find the answers, if they don't have them already, at the running back position.
You mentioned the guy Eric sleeping with Bieniemy, to borrow a phrase from Chris Berman. How is he going to help with his offensive coordinator background? Because he's had a real kind of a rough go. He went from a hot coaching candidate, head coach candidate to, not just a running back. Well, now he's just a running backs coach. So he's kind of a fall from grace, but doesn't mean he doesn't have a great football mind. How do you think he's going to benefit not just the running backs, but also Caleb and Ben Johnson?
Yeah, no, I think it's just really experience. When you think about all the stops he's had, the games that he's played in, big, obviously huge games like the Super Bowl, but you also factor in like Declan Doyle. He's a young OC, somebody that's not going to call the plays, be tasked with being that right-hand man to Ben Johnson. But with a guy like Eric Bieniemy, who is going to be obviously the running backs coach, but has so much knowledge where you could share that with a Declan Doyle. You can give your obviously opinions to a first-time head coach in Ben Johnson. So I just think that in addition to that, he also brings what I've read about him and just heard from like players, is that he is a hard coach. Like, he has a certain style to him. And I think hearing what some of the players were saying last year at the end of the season, they just want coaches that are going to enforce discipline. So if you have that from the running backs coach and it's being enforced from the top, from your head coach down, I think that sets the culture of what to expect when you go into that building at House Hall every single day. So those are just some of the things that Eric Bieniemy should be able to bring to that running back room, but also as the offensive as a whole, because he was tasked with doing, a bigger part in previous stops. But I think he does bring some nice assets, and just having, again, there's been like when you look at the Bears coaching staff as it is today, you have guys like Dan Rochar, who's had years and years of experience on the O-line. Declan Doyle, this first time being an OC. So you have this nice balance of youth and experience, and then Ben Johnson being the first time head coach, and factor in Dennis Allen as well, who's former head coach and also an established DC in the league. There's a nice balance of this youthfulness, but also guys that do come with a lot of experience.
So, guys, we're joined by Nicholas Moreano, Chicago Bears beat writer, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Yeah, at first I was like, I liked it because I really like Eric Bieniemy, and I was like, well, maybe it's gonna be too many, chefs in the kitchen. But I'm like, well, no, because you also want a guy who you can bounce stuff off him. Like you don't want to go bounce a guy, like you want a colleague, not a like, he can't bounce stuff off of Declan Doyle, right? You can't. You haven't called games, but he can bounce stuff off of Eric Bieniemy. Like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about that? And he can bring, it might even incorporate some of the things that he's done in the past into his offense. So I'm really, really happy with that. Wide receivers, what do you think they do? Keenan Allen is a free agent. Obviously, DJ's locked up, the biggest contract in Bears history. Rome's here for another 3, most likely 4 years, because they'll probably pick up his 5th. Tyler Scott, he was on the back of a milk carton right next to Cole Kmet all year. What do you think we do as far as the wide receiver position? Because we do need a third one. And do you think we or draft, or how do you see that playing out?
Well, I'm just trying to, again, Ben Johnson's going to cater this offense to the Chicago version of it, but knowing what he did in Detroit, I think you have your St. Brown type of player in DJ Moore, someone that's going to run that crossing route over in the middle of the field, the deep digs. I see that. Now, the Jameson Williams type, I wonder if Ben Johnson sees a little bit of Rome in him. Williams has more top-end speed. I think Rome Odunze has far more to show as a player, because, you know, when you have a guy like Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, you're a bit overshadowed. You're going to be, you know, not the first guy in the progression. So I think we're going to see a lot more from Rome. And I think with Ben Johnson, I think just being creative, he's going to find a lot of ways to utilize him. You know, Tyler Scott, I think with that top end speed that he does have, I feel like Ben Johnson can find a way to actually get him on the football field, make him active on game days. He does need to show that he can be more consistent with tracking the ball, and, you know, when he does get an opportunity, making that play. But, you know, he didn't, in fairness, he didn't even get a chance to show that because he wasn't active on game days. And again, when you have DJ, you have Keenan, you have Rome, it's hard to find those active players that are going to be a factor in the offense, but also need to, as a fourth wide receiver, need to contribute on special teams. So with that being said, I think that Keenan, as you know, as beneficial as he was for the wide receiver room, for Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze especially, I just think that the Bears will go in another direction and, you know, look elsewhere, maybe adding more speed. And I don't have an exact player in mind who that could be, but it would just make sense, because I think to allow Rome Odunze to be that top 10 pick that you drafted him to be, you need to let him get those opportunities, and he can play in the slot as that big slot where Keenan was primarily playing last year, but you can also line him up as the X on the outside. So I think if you go in a different direction from Keenan, that only grows the role from Rome Odunze. And having talked to him, you know, throughout the entire season last year, he wants to be used any way possible. The jet motions, and I know he had a couple fumble issues against the Detroit Lions the last time they played, but he does want that. He wants to be utilized in any which way possible, just to maximize the threats that he can create for an offense.
Yeah, I like Rome. I mean, you're not the number one. You don't lead the NCAA in receiving yards for nothing. That doesn't happen by accident. And this kid is good, and I really wish they I would have liked if they isolated him a little more. I mean, I would have liked if they isolated DJ more too. But but that's, you know what, that's a good problem to have when I can't figure out which one of my receivers I isolate, because they're both freaking studs. So that's a really good problem to have, and hopefully that that relationship continues to flourish. Talk to me about what do you think about the DJ Moore relationship with Caleb Williams? There was a couple times DJ had facial expression that showed frustration. A lot of people took that and ran with it. DJ walked off the field on one play where he nicked, twisted his ankle, I believe it was, while the play's still going on. The last play in Detroit, they go to Rome Odunze. Caleb didn't even think about, DJ. How do you think that relationship is? Because, they kept saying, oh, it's fine. But do you think there's more to it than that? Because, hey, if you're the number one receiver, we all know the receivers are divas. And, DJ Moore is just a quieter diva. He doesn't really talk a lot. He's not getting the ball. Like, you paid me $100 million, and I'm not getting the ball. I'm not the first look. I'd be a little salty too. What's your thought on that relationship between Caleb and DJ?
Yeah, so I think it was a bit overblown, just with, the cameras catching DJ at maybe the right time or the wrong time, however you want to, look at it. But I think when you go through a season like they did, especially when DJ was coming off of a career year in yards, receptions, touchdowns, all those things, and you're not seeing that success, and it is with a rookie quarterback who's going through all this at the first time, there's going to be frustration. And I'm sure there were tough conversations between him and Caleb, but just being in the locker room with, both those guys at the same time. Caleb's locker is in the same exact row as DJ's. They're about 3 lockers apart. I mean, you would never, if there was a problem, you never would have seen anything. And of course, like if the media is around, they're not going to show anything at that time. But I don't think there was really much to that. Yes, DJ was frustrated, as probably was most of the offense. Keenan Allen at times as well. Like they were just, when you're not having sustained success, when you're losing, you're going on a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah.
It's natural that you're going to show some type of frustration. So for DJ, I think that his chemistry, it showed that it was in a good place, because think about the last play before Cairo Santos' game-winning field goal against Green Bay Packers, where Caleb and DJ Caleb adjusts the route for DJ to get open in the middle of the field. They're on the same page. DJ catches the ball. You end up kicking the game-winning field goal against the Packers. Like that play doesn't happen week 1. That play doesn't happen in training camp. That took all of the season for those two guys to learn each other, to understand each other, to trust each other to get to that point. So I think that's an encouraging sign if you're thinking about, well, was there frustration with DJ and Caleb? Think back to that play. And of course, there's got to be more sample size to show that they're still going to build off of that. But that was a nice way to end the season. Nice way for Caleb, who I think early on in the season struggled with identifying things at the line of scrimmage, maybe checking out of things when he shouldn't have. But that very last play showed the growth from Caleb Williams and also the trust that he had in DJ Moore.
Let's go to the other side of the ball. New defensive coordinator is a lot more aggressive. Still runs a base 4-3. Likes to bring heat. How do you see this defensive line being? How many upgrades? Do you think there's a lot of upgrade needed? I mean, we still have Billing, who's coming off a torn pec. We still don't have anyone outside of Sweat. Sweat really doesn't. When it's him by himself, he's really not that individual game changer. What more do you think they're going to do to that defensive line?
Yeah, I think that for Dennis Allen's defense to work, and talking with some of the coaches that were at the Senior Bowl that overlapped with Dennis Allen, there's obviously a specific type that Dennis Allen likes. He really does like the bigger, longer defensive ends. I'm sure that, that could be something that a lot of coaches obviously will like, that physical prototypical type of defensive end, but they like that because they want to play light in the box. So you're looking at a Montez Sweat. He would fit the bill of what Dennis Allen is looking for, maybe even a, slightly smaller than what he's typically had. But when you're looking at guys that need to be added, which I definitely believe they're going to add to it, you're looking at those bigger defensive ends, guys that will not only be able to affect the passer, but can set the edge and stop the opposing run game. But I think that needs to be added. And then just looking to Dennis Allen, when he was introduced to the media, he did highlight the secondary. So I think he does see a lot of good pieces that he can utilize, highlighting specifically Kyler Gordon and what he can do with him. So I do like how, Kyler can potentially be utilized as not only a guy that could play in the box and be a guy that can shut down that opposing player in the slot, but just another addition to the run defense. So that's definitely going to help. And then also speaking with the guys that have known Dennis, like they really need somebody in the middle that's going to be a field general that is going to come down and just, fill gaps and just be able to make tackles when presented the opportunity by the defensive line. And Tremaine Edmonds' name kept coming up. And I think for him, you want to see more splash plays, right? From a guy like Tremaine, especially given what he's making. Look, when you're making the money that you're making and the guy that's next to you and TJ Edwards is making more of those consistent tackles, making more of those splash plays, you're kind of wondering like who should have got the contract and why is it not TJ Edwards? So I think that that's going to be important for Dennis Allen to get the most out of a guy like Tremaine Edmonds that will obviously elevate the entire defense. But yeah, defensive line wise, it's definitely going to be adding another bigger defensive end opposite of Montez Sweat, because when you're also playing Montez Sweat and having traded a 2nd-round draft pick for him, he does need to be that game wrecker. And if you need to add another guy to help him get to that point, then that also needs to be like 1A to the 1B of addressing the offensive line, adding a game wrecker on the edge.
So are we in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes or not? Would you be?
It's an interesting thought because I mean the Bears were in a very similar situation when they acquired Khalil Mack, in 2018. Mitch Trubisky was going into year 2, Caleb's going into year 2. You have the offensive coordinator, head coach or offensive minded head coach. So there's some similarities, and maybe the price tag might be somewhere in the similar range. I just don't think as much as Myles Garrett would help the defense, it would also help Caleb Williams. You're going to get off the field more. You're going to get more sacks, more of those opportunities for the offense. You can't make that move without knowing for sure that the offensive line is going to be addressed. Like too many times where, maybe the quarterback position or the offense is neglected to go get like a guy like that. And you just need to ensure this season, if you're Ryan Poles, if Ian Cunningham's still here, if he doesn't get a GM job with the Jacksonville Jaguars, that the offensive line is in a far, far better place. And I know Myles Garrett would be so enticing. If you add him opposite of Montez Sweat, imagine the things he could do. I can already see Myles Garrett doing that little, basketball, like fake out move where he's in the middle and then goes up and, rushes inside. But if you make that move, the offensive line better have been addressed with a key free agent like Trey Smith, or you know that you're able to land somebody in that top 10 pick to also fortify the line.
Would you give up that first round pick for Myles Garrett? Because he's under contract for 2 more years. You'll probably have to give him re-sign him. But I mean, the cap's going up. But I mean, if he goes ham like he has since he stepped in the league, he's going to want another. That's another $100 million contract. On the other bookending, Montez Sweat wasn't 100; it was like 96, 98. But still, another $100 million contract on a D line.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you know that your offensive line is in a good place, and also too, like it's going to take that first round pick. Like if you're considering Myles Garrett, it's going to take the 10th overall pick. Would I do it? Under certain circumstances, I think I would. I think again, you're adding a game. He's a game changer. He is a game changer. Every single offensive coach goes into a game when they play the Browns saying, how do we stop number, 95? How do we stop Garrett? And usually he still finds a way. Yeah. And again, what does that do for Montez Sweat? Like, can he go back to, right when the Bears acquired him being a game wrecker? He was coming off the edge and, teams had to worry about him. Like that would be really enticing. But I think you have to think about it from the Bears perspective. How close do they feel like they are? If they feel like they're, Ben Johnson's going to get that boost, the offense is going to be where it's at. The O-line is going to be in a place where it needs to be. And Garrett's like that missing piece. Like, yeah, then you do make that move. I wonder where the Bears feel like they are and how much work they still need to do to get to that place. And, I think a lot of people thought the Bears were going to be right there in the NFC North race last year. They won 5 games. And I know there's a couple of games where you go back and forth on whether it's the Hail Mary or things like that, but that was reality. So the Bears just need to ensure that they know, like, this is the year that they realistically can look at just the North, the NFC, that they can make a run. And I think time will tell if they, with the moves that they make, what they really think of this roster.
Well, Nick, where do you think the Bears are?
That's a good question. I definitely think even right now as it stands, they have more talent on the roster than 5 wins. I think a lot of people can look at that and say, yeah, they have more talent than the 5 wins showed last season. And Detroit has been obviously the upper echelon of what the NFC North has been the past 2 seasons, but you're going to regress. I don't care who's coming in, and you're going to regress when you lose that many coaches, when you lose your star-studded. Yeah, you have to, but
you see what I'm wearing? You see what I'm wearing? Coaching matters.
Exactly. So if the Bears are not playing relevant football in December in 2025, I would be shocked, because obviously that wasn't the case in 2024. But this team should be playing relevant football and looking at the playoffs as a realistic possibility in 2025. And maybe, I know I probably said very similar things in 2024, but there's no way with Caleb going into year 2, there's going to be additions to the offensive line and just the coaching that they're bringing in, they should be a playoff team. They should be a playoff team. And like, again, the NFC North is, it was a gauntlet this past year, but every single team didn't win no team in the NFC North won a playoff game this year. So I just think that, if Caleb does take that jump and is able to help out his offensive line at times and reduce those sacks, like playing turnover, relatively clean football with not having a bunch of interception or anything like that, you can win football games. No doubt about it. So I think the Bears are a playoff team in 2025.
Okay, I do too. I say 2026 is when they really take the North and not give it back. I think that second year with Caleb and the offense, him and Ben Johnson, him and DJ, with their rapport, the rapport with him and in Rome, and we saw how Detroit loved to use Sam Laporta, so Cole Kmet's going to get the ball. So I say 2025 they make the play this season. They make the playoffs, maybe get knocked down the divisional round. If everything falls right, they maybe get the NFC Championship game, but they ain't getting past Philly. I don't think they're getting past Philly, but I think 2026 is when they really start becoming a legitimate, at least NFC title game contender for the next couple of years. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to this season. Don't get me wrong. I want to see growth, but I think 2026 is gonna be like, oh snap, this is it. So, we'll see how that plays out.
That's the hope too. Like Shawn, like you, I'm tired of covering losing football teams. Like at some point can we get a winning football team where I usually going into a season, like January is where it ends. Early January is where, football games at Soldier Field or somewhere else, it ends for Bears football. It's time for them to be in the mix of, this in the playoffs and just see where they can go. And you just never know, right? You just never know. Like, I'm sure a lot of people didn't even expect Philly again to be, in the Super Bowl, just given maybe some uncertainty at the quarterback position with Jalen Hurts. But look, they're there. And I just think that it is definitely time, especially like you referenced what Ryan Poles mentioned is at his introductory press conference 3 years ago, take the North and never give back. Like what that needs to start showing up at this point. And now you're going into year 4 as a GM. And, there's talks that he will get an extension to line up with Ben Johnson, which I understand. But if you're looking at maybe again, it all comes down to wins and losses. Like Ryan Poles does not have the track record in terms of that to justify a contract extension. There are other things you look at that he's done that you think, okay, yes, those are obviously great assets. You have Caleb Williams. You do now have Ben Johnson, but there needs to be winning now. Winning needs to start 2025. And, if it obviously doesn't end in a Super Bowl, it needs to be on that track record to get there.
Do you think that so even if he does get an extension, they could still let him go? Do you think there was a lot of leeway given to him because, okay, first year he had to clear up all the crappy cap situation. All right. Then they tore down the defense. All right. You tore down the defense. You had Justin Fields running for his life. All right. And then you started building up. Then you restart the quarterback position, which you can't expect people just to, pick up where you left off. There's going to be a learning curve. Do you think that's why they gave him the extension? Because I personally don't see why you got an extension because you said your record is your record. His record isn't very good, but you think that the mitigating circumstances on what he came in, cleaning up the cap space, gutting this team, restarting at the quarterback, they probably said, hey, you did a decent job, and then in addition, we'll also line you up with the quarterback. I mean, the
head coach.
The head coach. So my question is then, how much do you think Kevin Warren had to play in this? Because Kevin Warren, he seems to be having a lot more, wielding a lot more power now.
Absolutely. So look, I mean, that was the circumstances though. Like Ryan Poles knew what he was getting into. Like it was going to be a rebuild. And I think that how he handled that, where the roster is at today, that's obviously a plus for Ryan Poles. But also, like, you're a part of the guy and the people that hired like a guy like Shane Waldron, right? Like, so there are things that you look at both ways here, and like, what are the perks and drawbacks of a Ryan Poles, and seeing where the offensive line is at, but also looking at the wide receiver room that he inherited, looking at it now, like there's ways that you can pick apart, but also give praise to Ryan Poles. So I do think that having a presence and also a guy that does have that leadership in the room and a Kevin Warren definitely helps. Definitely helped in allowing Ryan to run this search as the point man that he did to acquire a guy like Ben Johnson. So it does seem like the Bears, they do have people in place that it just feels like they know they have a good plan, a plan of how to, just attack things. Whether it's the coaching search, like down in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl, I talked to Mike Kafka, or I asked Mike Kafka a question. Just like, you were a part of the 17 interviews that the Bears had for head coaches. Like, how did it go? And you said it was really detail oriented. They had a good process there, and that seems to be the consensus of how the Bears were conducting these coaching interviews. Like, there was a plan in place. It was a detailed one, and it overall went well, even for the people that didn't get jobs there. So you're hearing that, you're seeing where the Bears are at now in terms of their coaching staff and the players that they have, and just the potential direction that they have to go. It does feel like the Bears are doing the right things, the smart things, and are, you were talking, Shawn, at the beginning of the show, like, what's up with all of our Chicago teams being in the place that they are? Well, maybe the Bears can be the one that gives fans a little bit of hope now that they can be, again, a team that's contending, a team that is not out of the playoffs before the month of December joins or happens. So it does feel like things are going in the right direction.
Did you think that or how true, or the people you talked to, there are rumors that Eberflus, or that Ryan Poles wanted to fire Eberflus this offseason, and he wasn't allowed to. Do you think, and if that's the case, do you think the McCaskies are finally saying, okay, well, let me back up a little bit? Do you think that was a reason why they had him go out and do his little press conference before 2 hours before they fired him, which was a complete embarrassment? Do you think the McCaskies are finally taking a step back, because that was just crazy that Eberflus couldn't be fired without by Ryan Poles? I thought that was his job as a general manager, and then have him going out to do the press conference 2 hours before he was fired.
Yeah, that was just terrible optics for the entire organization to do it the way that they did. So I haven't been told anything. I can't speak on that, but I don't know whether it's the McCaskies taking a step back or Kevin Warren just taking a step forward and being more of that, again, that leader in the room, to where, like, obviously he has, this background of being that presence, and just saying, like, this is how things need to be run. Trust me with that. And the McCaskies got to have that trust in Kevin that he's going to get things done the way that should be run. So I think maybe it's a little bit of both to answer your question there, Shawn. But overall, I think, to be completely honest, I think it's a good thing that if the McCaskies are a little less involved with some of these bigger decisions, especially when it comes to, who they're going to acquire, who they're hiring, things like that, and let the general manager, let the team president, the football people do the football things. I think that's going to, be way better for the entire Bears organization. If the McCaskies realize that, that's also a step in the right direction.
So you think Kevin Warren had a big part in saying, hey, listen, we need this guy. We got to pay him allegedly this $13 million. Otherwise we ain't getting him. You think he had a voice in that?
I'm sure there were definitely conversations between him and McCaskey, like, this is what's going to cost. I know, like, maybe that's not what has been done here.
While we're paying the old head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you want to stop doing that, hire the right guy now, pay him what he needs to be paid, and get it right. Then you won't have that track record of misfires that the Bears have obviously had, for years now. So hopefully, you pay. You know what? If you have to keep on paying Ben Johnson and keep giving him contract extensions, that's usually probably a good thing for what the Bears are doing on the football field.
Last question before we let you go, man. I really appreciate your time this morning. Two-part question. Do shovels get hit the dirt this year, and where?
I'm going to say yes, shovels finally hit the dirt. And look, I think it's in Arlington Heights. I do truly believe that, even though there's, Kevin's been very forefront in saying that, the lakefront is where that stadium's going to be. I still just don't. I just look at okay, a businessman in Kevin Warren. He, you know, like obviously doing what he did in the Big Ten, expanding it, doing these things. It just makes more sense to own your own stadium. It really, like, that's where it comes down to. And every single time there seems to be maybe like an inch of progress in going to the lakefront, there's some type of obstacle, but political, whatever it may be, there's some type of obstacle. So I just think when it's all said and done, you have 326 acres of land there in Arlington Heights. Like, that's where the new stadium is going to be. You're going to own your own stadium. You're going to make it in a place where people want to go, not just for the football games, but everything that's surrounding it. Having, you know, travel to a bunch of different stadiums across the league. Like, the ones that work are the ones that are, you know, have stuff around it. Like, honestly, with Soldier Field, do you want to go to the museum right before you go to, I don't, you know, like they would have to rebuild. And obviously they have things, like blueprints of what they would do to, the renderings. But I just feel like still it is going to be Arlington Heights, but we do need to see that shovel in the ground. Like, Kevin Warren's here to get that stadium up and running. I love US Bank. I think US Bank Stadium is the best stadium in the NFL. I always enjoy visiting it, going there and seeing games there. Let's see some progress in that aspect, because, you know, things are, you know, outside the stadium are looking positive. Still pretty unclear of the stadium where it lies, but I do think shovels do hit the ground in 2025, and it will be in Arlington Heights.
I want it on the lakefront because everyone works about it, you know. And I'm like, look, I can give a rat's ass about saving billionaires money. I don't give a shit. All right, I like it there. The renderings were dope. I was at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Holy cow! I was like, I want one of these.
Yeah,
I want one of these. I was like, San Francisco, Levi Stadium. I haven't been to US Bank, but San Francisco Stadium Levi Stadium was nice. And but I personally would love it on the lakefront. If it goes Arlington Heights, cool. But I'm not worried about saving the, you know, from a business perspective, it should be in Arlington Heights from a business perspective. But from a fan, no, keep it here. I can give a rat's ass about your tax savings and and all this other stuff. No, that doesn't affect me. The people, it doesn't affect the average fan because they still got to pay the PSLs, the season tickets, the $15 beers, the $8 hot dogs. It's still going to affect them. So I personally would love to see it on the lakefront if they can get it done. But, you know, I think it's probably gonna be in Arlington Heights. But I'm hoping, I got my fingers and toes crossed, man, that Kevin Warren pulls a rabbit out of the hat and gets it done on the lakefront, because that would be pretty freaking dope. I know tailgaters would be pissed, but hey, you know what? You know, whatever.
You got to make sacrifices. You got to make if you have one of those stadiums. You know, again, I've been to. There's only a handful of stadiums I haven't been to yet. Soldier Field, it's on the low end.
Yes.
In terms of just the infrastructure, what it can provide, what's around it, things like that. Like, when you get one of these top end stadiums, you're going to feel it. You're going to see it. And, you know, it will be a dome. Like, you're going to see the differences in just your experience there. Like, again, going back to US Bank, the Vikings, they know what they're doing. You know, that's the skull chant that they do, like, it reverberates throughout the entire stadium.
The big gong.
That they have the horn. They have artificial snow that like falls down. Like, it's a vibe. And I just think that there's so many possibilities that you can do with the Chicago Bears, that once you get that new stadium in place, like, it's going to be a place that you want to be. Obviously, you know, I think even, you know, watching football is something that it's great when you're at home at your living room in front of the TV. But if you get one of those new stadiums, it does enhance the experience that, you know, only 8 or 9 of those a year at home, you want to be at one of those games, and a new stadium can help create that atmosphere.
Hey, Nicholas, great stuff, buddy. I really appreciate it. Glad to have been able to get you on, man. It's been a minute, so it's good to talk to you. Do me a favor, though, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, Shawn, thank you for having me. Again, it has been a minute, but I'm so glad that we got to talk some Bears football. Everybody can follow me at Nicholas Moreano on my X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, but also my YouTube page, same handle at Nicholas Moreano. I'll be posting a bunch of different content on there. So, you know, obviously free agency, draft, all these things are coming up. Bears are still filling up some of the coaches. So, you know, you can follow me on there, be up to date with all your Bears coverage.
Dude, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Shawn.
All righty. Guys, that's Nicholas Moreano, Chicago Bears beat writer. Appreciate it. Great stuff. Great conversation. Man, you know, I do want the stadium. I do want it on the lakefront. All right. Stop with the Stockholm syndrome bullshit. Like, oh, well, they should have it here. We need it. No, why do you care? I would hate to have to go to Arlington Heights. I'd go. Okay. But get this shit done in the city. All right. Everyone talks about, well, they need to have this. Fuck what they need to have. They got all our money. They got all our money. Okay. They got all our money. They got the PSLs. They got the season tickets. They got the crazy concession prices. They got the crazy merchandise prices. I don't care. I want to be able to go downtown for a concert, for a Bears game, for a Big Ten championship game, for WrestleMania. I want to be able to go downtown. All right, go downtown. They got all the infrastructure's there. Infrastructure's there. You got the hotels. You got you have the restaurants through the roof. Which, by the way, if you haven't gone to Restaurant Week, go to Restaurant Week. It ends Sunday. Make sure you go. Check it out. Just Google Chicago Restaurant Week. Probably going to go one or two more times. But I digress. I don't care. I don't care about the McCaskies. They've done so much crap to us, and they've, all the bullshit they put us through all the years. No. I don't care if they co-own the stadium with the city. I don't care. I want it on the lakefront. If you tailgaters, I don't care either. All right, there are more than enough little spots down there that people are having, and hopefully we can actually join that crew sometimes and have our own tailgate downtown. All right, before you walk over. But I don't care. I'm not. Oh, it makes more sense. It doesn't make sense for you. Does it make sense for us, the consumer? I'd just rather it be downtown. I'd want it to be downtown, and then the south wall would be a big ass glass. Wow, big ass glass wall that you can see the best skyline in the world from the game, from the concert, from the college championship game, from the Final Four, from WrestleMania. Oh man. And you could build it. They talked about having the train lines go there. Perfect. But everyone talking Arlington Heights and like, well, this should do it. Why? I stop worrying about the McCaskies making money. They're screwing you out of your money already. So how about we do something for us? Have something for us. Because ideally, in a perfect world, the Bears would have been able to buy McCormick Place, the old McCormick Place, knock that down, build a dome, and then you can literally Uber to the game. Pull up in front of the new McCormick Place, walk in, walk over the bridge, over Lakeshore Drive, into the new stadium. Come on, man. Ideally. But the city doesn't own old McCormick Place. Chicago Metropolitan Pier and Exposition or something or other, they own the old McCormick Place. And they only use it a couple times a year. But ideally. But anyway, that's what I would, in my idea of the perfect world. But I do love the renderings. I do love, just the thought of still being on the lakefront. I think it'd be dope. Goes Arlington Heights. Well, I guess we'll go there too. But that's my thought. Man, listen, 2 hours is come and gone, guys. Wow. Excuse me. I want to thank my guest, Jason Palmer, journalist and Chicago Sky reporter, for coming out and talking Sky basketball with us. The craziness that's happening over there with those ladies and the new GM, new coach, new players, getting rid of top contributors last year, bringing back old contributors from before, all this other stuff. When I should have asked him when they're going to get shovels in the ground for the Wintrust Arena, the Wintrust practice facility over there in Bedford. And people talk, and I know technically it's the city, technically. But if you cross the street, literally across the street, you're back in Chicago. That's one of the borderlines over there off of Cicero. If you know where I'm talking about, right by the airport, 65th Street, where all the hotels are on 65th, that's Bedford Park. All right. The city gets no tax dollars off of that, off the rooms, nothing, because it's not Chicago. But yeah, I should have asked I should have asked Jason on that. But also want to thank him for coming on, Jason. Then I want to thank my guy Nicholas Moreano. Yeah, we've been trying to get him on for a minute, but he was just busy. He was out in Mobile. He's busy. He's doing his thing, man. I love it. I love it. And good to have him on. Glad he was able to stay with us for a while and talk Bears football with me. So I want to thank those two guys. I really appreciate their time for coming on, talking Chicago sports with me and entertaining you guys. So listen, I got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit. And listen, it's a little cooler today. It's 28 degrees out there right now. All right, do me a favor. First of all, make sure you dress warm. Okay? Make sure you dress warm. And I talked to you about Restaurant Week. All right? Restaurant Week is going on now till Sunday. Make sure you, if you get a chance, holler at your people you love, people you care about, your friends, former teammates, former colleagues. All right? Hey, let's go grab some lunch. Let's go grab some dinner. Let's grab brunch on Saturday or Sunday before the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Let your loved ones know you love them. Because tomorrow is promised to nobody. I told you that. I tell you that all the time, and it never hit home, man, because the guy from CrossFit, 37 years old, he passed away, had a heart attack, and he hadn't been here a few months. You know, life gets in the way, and he was just telling the owner that he was coming back. I'll be back real soon, and he didn't make it. All right, tomorrow's promised to no one. All right, remember that as you go about your business and text people and call people that you love. All right, but cool. This is going to replay tonight at 6 p.m. Central, and we will see you on Friday. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal day. I love you, and I appreciate the love and support from you guys. Your boy is out.